So in the last class, we created a file called as importdata.js with which we could import data into the database or delete all the data from the database. That's what we did. All right. It's a useful script. Sometimes it will come into handy. Okay. Okay. So now today we will talk about a different thing uh, called as filtering. Okay, so here, let's say you have all the tours here, right? I want to filter the tours based on like I only want all the tours which is difficulty of easy, not any others, right? So then how would we do it, right? So for that, you can embed something called as a query string inside the URL. Okay, so in order to insert query string, you have to start by adding question mark and then start writing the query, which is a difficulty set to easy, right? So this is called as a query, which is mentioned after a question mark. You can add as many queries as you want. You can simply add and difficulty or not difficulty or and a duration of 4, something like this, right? So now this will actually create something called as a object in the controller. Let me just log that once here. Okay, so Express makes this query string as a query object inside the request object. Okay, so let's just log it here. Log request dot query. Okay, so because I'm trying to get all the tours here and filtering it out, that's why I'm logging it here in the get all tours. Okay, okay, so let me just come here. Okay, and now if I hit send, okay, sorry, I think I'm logging all the tours as well. I don't need to log that. Okay, so now if I hit send here, observe here, we have got an object which is a query object stored in the request object, right? So here the difficulty is set to easy and duration is set to 4. So pretty simple, right? Okay, so now we can use this query object to filter out values from the tour.find. You already know, right? We can simply mention the values here, or we can simply pass the request.query here. Okay, now come back here and hit send. So we don't have any tool which is of difficulty easy and duration of 4. So let me just remove the duration of 4 and hit send. So we have 4 results which are all of difficulty easy. Okay. Okay. So you can observe here, you can also set parameters in the query option here. Okay. So difficulty or duration of 5. Okay. So observe here, it automatically added that string in the queries URL as well, right? Let's hit send. We have how many tours? We have 2 tours with the duration of 5 and the difficulty of easy, right? So I hope this is clear, right? So let's move on here. And there are options like filtering or pagination or sorting or setting the fields, which we don't want to do right now. Okay. Okay. So in order to handle those fields later on, I will try to exclude those fields from the request.query. For example, here you might get options like limit the result. Let's say you had hundreds of results here, and I want to limit it to some 20 results, right? So this I don't want to handle it right now because it's a special thing. We can do it later on, not just limit and uh, other things like fields, how many fields you want to have, uh, or page, in which page are you there, something like that, right? Those are the fields that I want to handle it later on. So I want to exclude those fields and then work with the queries, right? So let me just handle those things first. Okay, so the fields that I want to exclude are these. Okay, so const excluding fields are simply limit field. I don't want to handle it right now. I don't want to handle the uh, sort field right now. I don't want to sort it, and I don't want to have the fields, and of course in which page we are. These are the fields that I don't want to handle. Okay, so in order to do that, let me comment this out first. Okay, let me comment this out, and let's try to exclude these fields from the query object. But I don't want to modify the original query object. I want to keep it as it is. So let me make a copy of it as well. So const, maybe I will make it let query object equals to, it's simply a copy of our request.query. Okay, and this is the excluding fields. I already have it, and now I want to remove all these fields from the query object, but not the original query object, just a copy of it. Okay, okay, so let me do that. And here uh, mm, query object, modified query object will be the result of excluding fields dot for each. For every value of this, get this key from the query object and delete it. That's what we are trying to do here. It's simple, right? So I think I have a spelling mistake here. Okay, so from the query object, we are trying to remove all these fields with the help of this command. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. And now once you exclude all these fields from the query object, now I want to query from the tours.find. All right, so let's come back here. So const tours equals to await the result of the tours.find method with the query object. That's it. Okay, so now come back here. You can have any of these values, like let's say we are at the page of 2, right? So now we've only still get 9 results, and I think we have a mistake, I think. Sorry. So let's just log the query object once. So this is the original query log, right? And let's just log the modified query. So log the modified query object once before trying to fetch it. Let's click on send. Okay, we have undefined here. Okay, I think we have a mistake here. Sorry, the Codium made a mistake. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, so this I don't have to save it because of course this does not return any value. We just have to delete these fields from the query object itself, right? That's what we should do. We don't have to store anything, right? So now let's just save and hit send, right? So now we have, okay, of course I have not set the page. So let's just set the and page equals to 2 and hit send. Okay, uh, observe here. So I have two logs, right? So one is the initial query, okay, and another one is the modified query object here after deleting, excluding the fields, right? So initially we had the page, and now we don't have the page anymore. We excluded them, right? I hope this is clear. Okay, so we are trying to remove all these fields from the query object, and then we are trying to query. Okay, so before moving on to the next thing, I just want to make sure that you also understand what this tour.find returns. Okay, so understand that every query, once you query, it also returns a query. Okay, only if you await, that will be executed. Okay, so up until you await for the wait of the query, it will only return another query itself. Okay, so because of that, you can actually use many other query methods as well, like tours.find with this, and you can add like where duration is set to something like this. where duration equals to 5. You can keep on chaining other queries. Okay, only when you wait for the result of it, it will be uh, executed. Okay, so let me not use any of these things. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you are ready for the next thing. Okay. Okay, so I just want to give you one more thing. Let's say I want to have a tour which is which is having a price less than 500 or more than 1000, something like that, right? So how can we do that? Okay, so for that, the thing that you can do is, let's say price is greater than, uh, let me just check any other price here. Okay, let's say greater than 400. Okay, so then in order to include the operators like greater than or less than, you have to use the brackets. Okay, so greater than GT or greater than or equals to is GTE, and less than is LT, and less than or equals to is LTE. Okay, so let me make it GT greater than 350. Okay, so how do we handle this? Right now, if I hit, I can turn this off. Okay, so I don't want the difficulty, I don't want the duration, I don't want the price. I just want to have the, sorry, give me a minute. I just want to have the price set to greater than 350. Okay, so but how do we query for this in the Mongoose or MongoDB database, right? So I will just show it to you here. Okay, so in order to have this kind of operators in the query, this is how you'd have to do. A query string should be, a query object should be like this. Okay, so let's say you want to have the price greater than um, some 350, right? So then the query object should be like this. Okay, price, which should be greater than. So whenever you want to include operator, you have to take the flower brackets again. Okay, and here I have a dollar sign and then greater than 300. Okay, so this is how a query object should be, and this is how you include greater than or equal to or less than or equal to as a operator in the query object of a database. Okay, so now let me just log how this will look from this query string. Okay, so we already have a log here, right? So we have already logged it. So let's just hit send this thing and observe how it comes. Okay, so observe here, we have got price set to like this, 350. Okay, so this is exactly what we wanted, right? Almost exactly. Okay, so when operator comes like greater than LTE. So this is what we wanted, but the only thing that is missing is dollar sign here in front. Okay, so how can we add the dollar sign here? Right, so I will just give you a code of regular expression and you can use it. And because regular expressions are so hard, you can just right now simply include it, and we can move on with that. Okay, we don't want to waste more time with that. So the first thing is we will try to uh, just get the query and then do the rest. Okay, so the first thing is, sorry, we can have right here, come back here in the query object. Let's convert this to a string first. Okay, so like this. Okay, so we converted this query object to the string so that we can replace uh, GT, LT, all those things. Okay, so now we have the new query string by replacing all the greater than or equal to or greater than or less than or equal to or less than, all these things from the beginning are at the end, and throughout the query string we will try to get that match and replace that with the dollar symbol ahead. That's it. Okay, so don't worry about this, just you can take this string, it's a regular expression thing. It's, you can read more about regular expressions in JavaScript in its document MDN. Okay, so for now we just have the query string like this. Okay, so we have to convert this back to query object so that we can reuse it again, right? So simply the query object, equals to json.parse the query string. That's it. Okay, maybe we can try to log the query object now. Okay, instead of logging it here, I'll try to log it here. Okay, okay, so now let's try to hit send here. Okay, observe, before we had uh, something like this, like prices GT, and now we have the dollar symbol as well. Clear? Okay. So now let's just pass this to uh, get the values. Okay. I think we already have it, right? So observe here, we have 9 2s, I think, right? We have the result already, and everything should be greater than 350, right? Okay. Let's make it as 500 and observe how many results we get. Okay. We have 7 2s which have price higher than 500. Okay, all these things are greater than 500. Let's try to make it 2000. Okay, so we only have 2 2s which has a price greater than 2000, right? I hope this is clear, and this is all about filtering. Of course, we need to discuss how we can handle the limit, sort, fields, page, all these things in the next class. Okay, so let me just revise once what we did till now. So basically, we try to access the query string. And what is a query string? A query string is nothing but adding filtering in the URL, right? You start that by having question mark here and setting the values. Of course, you can add them here as well. Just click on adding whatever you want, set the key and the value, and it will be adding here. Okay. And of course, you don't want to handle limit, sort, fields, pages right away. There is a different way for it. So for now, we just wanted to have other things. Okay. So that's why we removed those things from the query object by making a copy of it and remove all those things. Of course, also, uh, because if whenever we want to use the operators like greater than or equals to, all those things, it needs a dollar symbol. By default, the query string won't be having the dollar symbol, so we need to make some arrangements here for that. So we will convert the query object to the string first, and then from that string we will try to replace all these values with the dollar as well, dollar and then the particular value. And once that is done, we will try to query for, of course, convert it back to the object and then use it to find the tools, right? So that's it. And I will send you one more video today itself. Okay, please finish this up today and let me know in the group what help do you need. Okay, I will be in the institute today around 12, and you can take help. Okay, thank you.